So from this position, guys, you're going to bring your heels up to your bum at about hip width. You're going to make sure you can wriggle your toes. You're going to push up into a nice high bridge. You can change this a number of ways. You can come all the way down to the floor, relax, push again, drive up, or you can stop just shy of the floor to keep the tension on. Go from 1 or 2 inches just off the floor so you're not relaxing at the bottom. You can change the tempo. You can drive up, you can slow right down. You can do the same thing. You can get rid of a foot. So you're driving up through one leg. You can have that foot so the knee stays level with the other one, or you can indeed rest that foot, open up the hip, rest the foot on the opposite knee. If you have any weight, you can lie it across your belly, so you've just got that extra bit of resistance. The butt lift can be elevated at the shoulders, so find a platform, anything you've got, chair, sun lounger, and apply the same principles as you did for the floor butt lift. One leg, this one's a really nice glute stretch on the way down, or leg elevated. Make the most of each movement. Point that toe, contract your quad. Move with purpose with each movement. To give your hip lifts a different dimension, try elevating the feet instead of the upper body. Same principles apply. Heels on the bench this time. Drive up, back down. Don't forget you can add a little bit of intensity by stopping shy of the bottom. One leg, alternate legs, mix it about. Squats, there's so many different kinds of squats, and the squats always need to be worked on. Our regular squat, simple as feet hip width, under your hips, toes turned out very slightly, shoulders back, tummy in. Start with your arms in front. So as you sit back onto your heels, your hands raise up. Watch your fingertips, keep the chest lifted all the way through. Nice straight back. Nice and slow down, being attacked by a wasp. Make sure the weight is more towards your heels than your toes. Change the tempo. Make it more aerobic, make it faster, make it slower to add more strength. Perhaps take the hands behind the head, make it a little bit harder. Play with your foot stance. Go wider to hit the inner thighs, but really drive those knees out. More of a sumo or a duck squat style. Keep that chest lifted. Jazz it up, lift a foot. That emphasis now comes further onto one leg. Lift the other heel. Whatever you do, make sure you keep it even. You'll go around in circles all day. We can split stance the squat into a Bulgarian split squat, so raise that back foot. Make sure that when you're coming down, your knee is tracking towards your toe and not desperately going over your toe. Back knee towards the floor, doesn't necessarily need to touch. So all that emphasis is on that front leg. You can add weight if you've got it, but you don't need weight for that. Add intensity by doing more reps, changing the speed, but keep control of your technique the whole way through. With your squats, you can make them more powerful. You can add jumps. Use those hips. You can jump on the spot. You can travel. You can turn it into a great big broad jump. You can spin it around. Use your imagination. Add any sort of movement to your squat. We could travel. could add a side leg raise. A knee with a twist. A rear leg squeeze with arm extension. All these can be done with or without weight. There's no limit. Just keep safe. Change your tempo, change your speed of your move, how many you do, and you'll soon feel it. Let's get into that outer thigh. So simple, really simple exercise. You don't need anything for this other than maybe something to hold on to. It's just a side leg raise. Now to really get into that side of your hip, you're going to flex your toe up. You're going to pull your toes towards your knees. You're going to come straight out to the side. Just up to 45 degrees. If you can swing your leg out, you're turning your hip out. So let's just keep the hips facing forward. They're locked in, body nice and still. You can change that slightly into an isometric hold. So that means that the length that doesn't change. So we find something to push our foot against, and maybe we hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, relax. Go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still flexing that toe up, and you're really going to feel it in those glutes. Outer thigh raises can be done on the floor. Good old fashioned side leg raise. You're coming down into a side lying position. Rest your body down. Bend up that bottom knee for support. Just pop your hand in front to keep your balance. Flex that top, the toe of the top leg. We're just going to bring it up in line with the body and back down. Simple stuff. You can play with it. You can point your toe, draw some circles. You can kick out, kick back, kick out, kick back. You can bend the knee to the chest, kick up. Lots of different ways to get into that outer thigh. And why not, while you're here, do the inner thigh. These are all ridiculously old exercises. And you haven't got any equipment, they're all perfectly legitimate. Pull that toe up towards you again. This time you're lowering the underside leg to get into the inner thigh. Then from there, why not tuck your knees up into a clam so those hips stay rock solid. Open up the top leg, open up the top leg. We're doing a clam. These you might need to just give yourself more reps to really work that inner thigh. But if you start linking all these exercises, sorry, I meant outer thigh. If you all start linking these exercises together, you're going to wake up with sore butt cheeks tomorrow. Hamstrings. Hamstrings can be a slightly difficult muscle group to work without any equipment. But here's just a few ideas that might help. We've got the simple good morning, soft knees. Cross your arms across your body, and you're going to send those hips right back. So if I do it quite right here, I'll be able to get my hips to go right out of shot. Good stretch up the hamstrings. Drive up, squeeze your butt at the top. So this is just like your straight leg deadlift position. It's a hip hinge. It's a start of a kettlebell swing. You can change this. You can take that leg out behind you. Might need your arms for balance. Come up. Drive out. Make it harder by increasing the length of time. You hold that arabesque position. Point your toes, stretch your fingers. Try and move as a unit. So as your foot comes back, your body goes forward equally. Single leg. You can turn that into a little bit more of a walkout. Into plank, walk back up. Into plank, walk back up. Another one that I find particularly tricky is straight leg lifts. Now you can do this with your feet elevated, or you can do them flat on the floor. So what you're trying to do is dig your heels in Lift your butt, squeeze, back down. Lift your butt, squeeze. So the legs are straight, you're digging your heels in. Another one you can do from a reverse plank position. You're going to drive through your heels, push up, back down, push up, back down. Really nice posterior chain exercise if you want. Alternate the legs, come up using one leg, then the other one. Jazz it about a little bit, change your speeds, change the tempo, change the number of repetitions you do. I hope that helps, guys. I'm back with a few more single leg options for obviously working your legs and your butt. I thought we'd start off by the single leg squat. Now if you're lucky enough to be able to go all the way down to the floor with your leg out front like a pistol squat, then these are amazing. That you're not going to beat them for your legs and glutes, but there's other versions. So what I tend to do with a pistol squat is I'll tuck my foot behind, maybe use my toes just to balance on the floor, drop it down, standing back up. So my weight is coming forward onto my thigh and I'm using this back foot for balance. If that's too hard, you can take that foot back into sort of a semi-lunge, so you've got a little bit more stability. So that's a slightly easier version. Obviously, taking that foot away and squatting onto one leg is going to be super tough. I can't do that. But there is another way. We can single leg squat to the bench, stand up. Squat to the bench, stand up. Or perhaps you could try down to the bench on two legs, pushing up through one. Down onto the bench, pushing up through the other. Okay, so there's some single leg versions. We also have the good old step up. Different ways you can do a step up. Doesn't matter what size your step is, work with whatever's good for you. You're going to stand up tall. This is your lateral step up, back down. Now if you really control your descent, it's really tough on the thighs. Of course, you can hold something in your hand. We've got a regular step up. Nice and tall at the top. If you don't extend at the top, you're not going to be working those glute muscles. So stand tall at the top before you descend. If you look at the action here, it's the same as a leg press. In fact, it's probably deeper than a lot of the leg presses I see at the gym, but full extension at the top there. Full extension, squeeze that butt. We've also got things like curtsy lunges. So we start with the feet about hip width, step behind, drop into that curtsy position. Very wobbly. Oh my days. Seriously, not CrossFit. All sorts of versions, guys. Jazz it up, throw in some lunges, throw in some jumps, great big tuck jumps, squats with knees, squats with rear leg raises, anything you can think of, but think about the number of repetitions you're doing, the speed you're going at, and the quality of each of your moves. I hope that helps, guys. Anything else you want to work on, please give me a shout and I'll try and come up with some ideas. Thank you.